Welcome to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us for another edition of DAX Machina. Joining me tonight is my brother from another mother, Robbie Rains, and his daughter Taylor is in the house. Norman, aka Caduceus, if you recognize him from the Wild Hunt books, the name Norman is the character of Caduceus in that book series, and Norman's jumping in with us tonight. Anthony's running a little bit late. He should be here in a minute, and we may or may not have a Doc sighting at some point in this evening. Doc's working a little late, but he said he's going to try to jump in here shortly. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and we are live on another crazy night, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Robbie, talk to us a little bit here, brother.
Well, we talked a little bit about that the first investigation we did at this little hot spot that Norman and I have been investigating for probably a month or two. Would you say, Norman, that we've known about it? Maybe a month. So we got our investigation team up, which was my daughter Taylor and her boyfriend Norman, his nephew, and my partner from the police department. And we all went up there and found some pretty interesting stuff. Like I said last time, we found a hair sample, found some looked like a trackway going up the side of the hill. Norman got some interesting readings on the EVP meter or whatever that the meter's called. I can correct me when I say it wrong, Norman, because I'm not the technical guy. I think anyway, Norman's got some volume issues, can't hear him. So, but he got a few EMF meter. We got some pretty interesting readings. We found though what we actually think might be a betting site though, and Taylor actually got to kind of crawl in there and look around, and I'll let her talk about that, tell what she felt with that one. But basically what it boiled down to is they started going up the hill and they saw what looked like the trackway. So I went up to see if I could locate any kind of ground spore, air spore, anything like that, any tree breaks or anything like that. And my partner came up there with me. After looking around a little bit, he finds a hair sample. So we get them up there to collect the sample, and they actually found the bedding or the nest area. So I'll let Taylor tell what she found in there. I didn't make it inside there.
Yeah, so whenever I went up there the first time, there was very long strides going up a little ledge that I had to take a few steps to get up. And I'm raised out here in the country, so climbing around things isn't an issue for me. So it was a pretty big step. And then later when they called us back up there, we went up there and I got curious. So I started exploring the cave. And I got up in there, and it was easier for me to get in there because I'm smaller. So I went up in there, and I called back over. I was like, "Hey, Morris, did you see all these leaves piled up over here?" He's like, "No, I didn't." So he comes back over, and I get in there, and I start recording, and I notice there is a pile of leaves on two sides. So there's one that is just kind of laying there. And then off to the side in the corner of the cave, there's one that has an indent in it, like something had been laying in it. But the only spot where leaves could fall in wasn't big enough for that many leaves to come into the area.
So something that actually carried the leaves inside. They weren't just going to fall down and blow in and end up in that.
Hey, y'all, I think you have a directional mic, Taylor. You might have to get a little bit closer. You're a little hard to hear on the stream.
Is this any better?
Nobody said anything yet. So we got about a 5-second delay anytime we say anything, but I noticed the audio was a little low.
Try that.
Hello?
There we go. That's better.
Okay.
Oh, we lost Norman.
Yeah.
I think he's having some sound issues.
Yeah, we couldn't hear anything he was saying when he was trying to talk. But yeah, there's not going to be. It's not going to blow in there and just randomly land in that configuration. So it was pretty interesting.
I think I've got the video loaded if I know which one it is. If this isn't the video, do what?
It should be the last one. I think it's the last one I took.
Is it the one that the thumbnail looks like a boulder?
Probably.
Hey Norm, is your sound working? Nope.
Nope.
Okay, well we'll try the video and see if he can get back in. I think this is the one.
That one looks like it is. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That one looks like it is. Yeah. Yeah, this one looks like
Hello,
a
Mr.
good
Spider.
wash, but that looks very unique.
Yeah, this
And it could be a bobcat dam. So look
Could
under
be.
the ledge. Yeah. Oh, okay. Get right there to the edge. Yeah, I used to live up in.
I can see where the leaves have been kind of piled up in there.
Yeah. And there's definitely like a ring of leaves almost in that one spot,
Yeah,
which isn't a natural pattern for them to fall in.
definitely not. Still can't hear you, dude.
I noticed
Norm,
there's
if you can hear me, Norm, go down to the bottom of the screen where that little the microphone icon is. It says mute beneath it with the up arrow. Click the up arrow and make sure you have the right microphone selected. Because I know it's done that to me before. Sometimes this likes to randomly change your settings.
I don't know if he can hear you, DA.
I just said okay, so I think.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Norm?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you there. You were really quiet.
Yeah, he's fairly audible.
Roy. Give me a second to try something
Just
here.
scream.
Testing. Okay. You hear me now?
You're still quiet. I can hear you, but not very loud. Try it again. I just turned your volume up.
How about now?
Still really quiet.
Oh, Lord. Give me a second here.
I changed your name. Why did you do that?
Testing.
You're still real quiet, dude. See, this is why we want to get you in like half hour before we go on the air.
We got a pre-game.
Yep.
It's not just to chat and hang out and BS. It's to get all the sound settings worked out.
Now.
Still about the same level.
Give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. Well, he'll be right back. I've got those other three videos up. If you want to give us a little description, I can play those one at a time.
Okay. Basically, those other videos, I think I took one of the tracks I was walking along, and then one was a really tense moment that I don't know if it'll translate through the video. There's this moment where his partner Morris had gotten in the cave, and that was the first time any of us had gone in there, and we all just kind of, the wind shifted and we all just kind of tensed up and everything went like deathly quiet.
Yeah, that was when right after we initially smelled the smell.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
so, like,
I don't know which of these videos is which, so I can just play one and you can tell us about that video.
Okay.
Because there's no way I'm going to get them in any kind of order because they're not
Yeah.
labeled in Melon. So I'll play one. You can tell us about that video, then we'll play the next one.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Well, I don't know about Bigfoot, but we certainly had a Robbie sighting.
How
Yeah,
about now?
Pretty good though.
I was both recording and using those as binoculars.
So tell us about that area where you shot that.
So that was down the hill below the cave. It looked like that cave area might have been a waterfall at one point, or just like a small runoff area. But that was the tense moment I was talking about. I'm not sure if it translates, but you can't see, but I had pulled out my knife, like my larger knife, and then I look over and both Norman and Tyler and everybody else had pulled out their weapons as well. And it was just kind of that instinct moment of like something feels off. And it was just this really tense moment. So I felt like I should record, but also I wanted to see if he was also feeling it, because I'm good at reading people. So I was trying to look at him. So again, I was using it as binoculars almost. Also trying to see if I could see up where Morris was. But yeah, it was just a really intense, odd moment.
I want to say, and Norman, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's when we were hearing it kind of moving from our right to left.
Hey, we can hear Norman. Woohoo!
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem, brother.
Yeah, because when Taylor pulled out her weapon and everybody else was getting tense, you could hear it like it was walking along the crest there, in a half moon pattern.
Yeah, it's like it was following that ridge line. And because Morris and I were kind of, from where you saw me in the video, he was a little bit further on past where I was at, and then the rest of them were kind of down at the bottom of the hill from us.
I was the highest of everybody else. I was down,
And
so everybody else was back behind me.
So Morris and I kind of heard something first, because he got my attention. I was already looking up there, but he got my attention when that he heard something walking on the ridge, and I went back and I waved back down and got the rest of their attention. But they were apparently, like you said, everybody had that feeling at the same time, because everybody was looking in the same direction, and nobody had really said anything to each other except for me and Morris making some hand signs to each other. But everybody had that feeling, or had either heard or was sensing that there was something.
Yeah. By the time he told us to listen over in that direction, we were all already looking over there. It was like this thing of like something's there, and it doesn't want us here.
I've had that same feeling in some of the areas I've been in, where you can't really put your finger on it, but you just the hair on the back of your neck is standing up, and something isn't right.
Yeah. And Norman, correct me if I'm wrong, that's when the EMF first spiked, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got I think it was up to a 0.4 around then. No, 0.4 is when I had my controlled descent. It did jump up to I think it was 1.4.
Which is weird in the middle of the woods.
1.9 was the last one. We got that one we cleared the other. But it jumped back up. I think it might have been a 0.2.
She said, "Do you feel threatened, or did you feel threatened?"
Oh.
Because I wanted to either prove or disprove, the theory that people talk about Bigfoot teleporting or running portals.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's energy discharge. So I had an EMF meter to read energy spikes out there. I even had a lightning detector, because if it's a portal, supposedly, that some people say, it would be like a lightning strike for discharge energy. And got nothing on the lightning meter, but EMF, we picked up some small signals, and it'll take further documentation and field runs that we'll need to do to see if we continue to get this reading. Now, I talked with a paranormal investigator, and he says sometimes out in the wilderness you can get readings from ghosts that are out there, but this ain't a ghost. So, like I say, I was just taking a chance, trying to either prove or disprove a theory, but it's going to take a long time to prove or disprove.
Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about. Any kind of data is good data, whether it, like Norman said, you got to get a lot of data points for something like that, but at least it gives us a place to start. So,
Absolutely.
Like said, that's really strange to get readings like that out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, it is very odd. when Noah and I went out to that Civil War cemetery, there were a couple places I got spikes up to about 1.2, but it was so brief I couldn't get. I had Noah filming, and I didn't get him over there to film my readings. Yeah, we can hear you, Norm. Something going wrong? I think he lost audio.
Yeah. Can you hear us, Norman?
Apparently not.
Hey,
There he goes.
Yeah, we hear you, but can you hear us? I guess he lost audio.
Well, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will play play one of the other videos, and we can talk about that until Norman gets back. Sound good?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Here goes the next one. If it'll come up. Come on now.
Yeah.
The moss almost looks like there's stuff pressed down right here in this, but it's old and you can't really see much.
It could be runoff or anything, yeah.
What?
It could be runoff or anything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that could be anything pressed down there.
A snake even.
Yeah.
That's a really pretty area.
It
Very
is.
dense,
It's
very
gorgeous.
densely wooded.
That one wasn't too interesting. Basically, that was when I first got to the cave, right after I had collected the hair sample. That was his partner, Morris. He was telling me where he found the hair. Basically, he said he found it in an indentation in the moss. And we were talking about it could be anything from runoff to a snake to anything at all, because moss indents very easily.
Mhm.
But that was right before I went up into the cave.
Anthony, what's up, man? Norm, can you hear us yet?
My system just went crazy.
He's acting mute.
Okay, go ahead and reboot and come back in because we can barely hear you.
Okay, give me a few minutes.
Okay.
How the hell did she get out?
Ant, you doing all right, brother?
Yeah, I just got back picking him up. Hold on a minute. Give me a minute. Let me get them.
Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and show that third video then.
Okay.
Ready?
Maybe they'll both be back by the time.
Yeah, I can't
maybe.
remember what this one's about. You already showed the
Okay.
interesting ones. So.
Here we go. Well, that looked like the entrance to that cave.
Yeah.
Yes, that was before the first video that you showed. That was right before I went fully in there. I had stopped because that branch that was right above me kept catching on my backpack, so I had to stop and go in a different way. But that is a better look at the other nest. It was off to the side. That's kind of less touched. It was kind of more like fresh. And also just the rocks leading up to there, which are
That
almost
overhang
like
area looks like it'd be a good place for something to get out of the rain.
Yeah.
And there was also in the first video, I don't know if you noticed, there was also kind of like a doorway over near the ring of leaves that looked more like a bed. That would be great for coming down from up the hill, coming down to get in that way. That would be easier for whatever would live there rather than a human.
Because you can't see it in the video, but where that area is, it's like right smack dab in the middle of that. You know, there was about 30 feet above it and about 30 feet to go below it. So it was kind of on a nice little leveled out ledge. So it had access to be able to get down or back up. It's really good central location for that area.
Yeah, that area in general was really good because right across the trail that we went down, if you go down that hill, there's a big old creek with water, and I'm sure plenty of game around with
Mhm.
all the
And
animals coming to the water.
there's all kinds of game trails.
And there's
over
a
there.
lot of like hills up behind that. Like you can see it in the second video that you played where it was that tense moment. It goes up really high. So I think we said next time we're going to try to trek all the way up and then go around, because above the little cave area, there's kind of like a flat area, and then we can go around to another area where we thought we saw something, like another cave area.
Yeah. Robbie, what made you want to go? What made you? What drew you to that area to start researching anyway?
Where we were at. That's where Johnny had sent me the email where he had his encounter. That where I sent you the picture of the tree that was being shaken and the footprints that we found. That was the first day that I went up there for just an initial scout, and just ended up having possible sighting, footprints, and just that general feeling of that. So then we set up that little investigation, and then kept on going from there with the hair sample, more trackways. It's a hot spot, I believe.
There was a lot of broken leaves in those areas. When I first walked up, before I like walked over everything, I made sure I checked for like broken twigs, broken leaves, and everything. There was every spot that I saw that had no leaves had broken leaves around it, like something had stepped on it.
Did you get did you guys show the pictures of the inside of the cave yet, or no?
Yeah, we showed a video.
Oh, you did? All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have your dad or DA send it to me after the show. I didn't see it yet.
Norm, can you hear us?
I can hear you, but for some reason YouTube keeps saying loading on me.
Yeah, and you sound really, really low. Like
Really quiet. You don't have to have YouTube playing at the same time, dude.
It's automatically
No.
loading.
he said,
Are
it's
you using a
automatically
separate
picking
mic
up.
from your headphones, or are you using your headphone mic?
Headphone mic.
Check your headphone slider on the settings. Make sure.
Well, everybody, hi, everybody in chat. Everybody said hello. Hi, everyone. Aaron's in here from Blonde and Booze. There's John.
Uncle
Uncle John.
John.
Can you hear us? Hey, we're gonna play this game now.
How about now?
Yeah.
Norm, you're a little louder.
Okay.
Nah,
A little-
say-
Not much.
Time for a new headset.
I gotta put these on. I can't hear you.
yeah, that'd be a good idea. Jesus.
I'm very glad he couldn't hear you, Anthony.
I don't. Do I care? No.
There we
Can
go.
you hear me now?
Oh, shut up. You gotta sleep sometime.
Yeah.
You ever see the movie Burning Bed?
He's gonna take a pinata bat to you while you're asleep.
That's it. With a nail stuck through it.
Anthony's gonna wake up like that guy did in Misery.
He may not wake up.
Yeah.
Who's that pretty young thing you got by you, Robbie?
Uncle John, this is my daughter, Taylor. Taylor, this is Uncle John.
Hi.
Hi, Taylor. How you doing, honey?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. How'd you get so good looking? You must take after your mother.
I look more like him than like him and my grandmother. Like,
We don't talk about that name around here, Uncle John.
So how's everybody?
Doing good.
Very good. How you?
Alright.
All right.
Norm, we can really barely hear you, dude. Folks, if you're watching on Facebook and your comments are popping up as Facebook user, if you want us to know who you are, you'll probably have to switch over to YouTube, because I don't know how Melon will authorize it for your names to appear. So if you'll go over to youtube.com/DARobertsAuthor, you'll be able to join in the live chat through YouTube. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button while you're over there. We are very close to hitting the 3,000 mark, and we are going to be doing a giveaway when we hit 3,000 subs. So we are like wicked close, like 59 people to go.
We're gonna do a flag, probably.
Yeah, but I can throw some stickers in from on the vinyl. Lone Wolf stickers. What's really out there stickers. Wild Hunt stickers and all.
I was hoping Norman would get back so he could talk about his little paranormal expedition.
Yeah,
But
church.
we're having some.
What happened with Norm?
Oh, he did a paranormal
Couldn't hear it.
investigation at an old church.
Oh, no, where did he go? He was just here on.
He's
hear
having
it.
some technical issues.
He
We've got
said
our
he
first
had
super
the
chat
phone
tonight from
thing.
Billy Dink. Billy, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated, my
Thanks,
friend.
Billy.
Oh, everybody's in tonight.
Yeah,
Wow.
we've got a full house tonight. Looks like we just broke 100 according to YouTube. I don't know how many are watching on Facebook. It says 106 on Melon, so it's probably
we got
probably
what's her
pretty
name
close.
in? Erin from Blonde and Booze. She's in. Who else?
Awesome.
Tombstone.
Cowboys on
Tony.
here. I saw him earlier. Werewolf.
Everybody's on here. Yeah.
Yeah. Got a lot of the usual suspects.
Yep. And Pink Dahlia.
A few new faces in the crowd.
Yeah.
If you're new to the show, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you guys jumping in. Again, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and we appreciate you guys being here. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, one of the things that we do like to do is, well, one, we also get sidetracked to talking about recipes and all kinds of crazy crap. But occasionally we do manage to stay on topic. But one of the things we do like to do is read encounter stories. So if you've had an encounter and you would like us to discuss it on the air, or you would like to send it to us to be narrated, you can send that to us. Let me bring that up. You can send that to us at, where's it at? Right here. You can email, you can contact the show at daroberts@daroberts.net. And if you want to remain anonymous, that is completely fine. We don't mind that a bit.
We'll still find out who you are, though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Anthony will.
We got ways. Yeah, we got ways.
We'll have Uncle John.
They have
We'll
ways
Uncle
of
John.
making you talk.
They have
Yeah,
face
With
to
internet
make
access,
you
you can find
talk.
out who anybody is.
And don't worry if it's a long, drawn out story, because I'm sure I'll be the one that gets to read it.
Oh, yeah.
There,
This is the
you
long one.
go.
Well, I guess while we're waiting to see if Norman can make it back, there was an encounter story I did want to talk about, and it's actually one Robbie brought to my attention. It's right there in his neck of the woods. Robbie, you want to introduce that little South Carolina story?
Oh, yeah, let's see if I can get back to it right quick so I can refreshes my memory.
How
Show him how to read, Taylor.
Oh, I'm worse.
Help him with the big words.
You know,
I can read perfectly fine on my own, but when I read something out loud, it's like he did
Use sign language. What the heck? You know?
I know how to say hi, and I am hearing. That's it.
Yeah, I had to say you are a loser. That's the only thing. I keep showing it to Anthony, but he doesn't understand.
Because the early 2000s, whatever made you a loser.
Somebody out there?
Somebody was out in front of the truck.
Nice. Somebody broke in my truck the other night.
Yeah, I heard that.
They take
And now
anything?
no, there wasn't anything in there to take. But they ravaged through it, emptied the glove compartment on the floor and everything. Emptied
That's all
out
I
the
would
console.
Yeah, if I catch him, it's going to be a world of hurt. Especially
There's
out in the
going to be
driveway.
somebody. There's going to be a big pile of blood out there. You know?
Feed him to that bear that comes around.
Oh yeah,
It's
let's
just
do that.
It's just tiring, man. Like I told Robbie, and me and him were talking that day when it happened. I'm just so sick of people doing shit like that. I mean, you can't have anything nice,
No, you can't around here.
It's not that we live in a bad neighborhood. We don't. It's like,
I've never had any problem with for what I've been here since 1974, up until the last 3 or 4 years.
yeah.
I used to leave my keys in the car, didn't lock my doors. Now you
Norm,
gotta
you
lock
there?
the doors.
Hey, Norm.
I hope so. How about
Oh,
All right, yay!
Yeah.
Good volume now.
Nice and loud, good. Way to go, buddy.
I had to go get my laptop. Something's wrong with the other one.
No. All right.
Yeah, well, they come and go.
Well,
Borrow my nephew's headset.
Well, Robbie's looking at that refreshing his memory on that encounter that was reported in South Carolina. You want to tell us a little bit about your investigation at that church? I wasn't able to get the audio set up.
Okay, that's no problem. My nephew and I went out to Ridge Church in Lonsdale, South Carolina, because my EMT partner and her husband have both been out there on separate occasions and encountered orbs, shadow people, feeling of dread. I mean, the whole gambit of physical physical issues coming on to them. Like they even got heat and cold from the building itself.
Mm-hmm.
So my nephew and I went out there today to look around during the daylight, get an idea what it was like. There's at least three cemeteries within there. We found some graves going back to the Confederacy, and I took a lot of pictures. I didn't see nothing. And my nephew's walking around with an audio recorder, talking and recording things. And when we were coming around to church, he called me back over because he said he thought he heard something inside the building. So we went through a side door that happened to be open and looked inside the church. It was fairly well lit and didn't see nothing, didn't hear nothing. There was still some money in the collection plate, you know. And we got back out, walked around, looked around again. I had no feeling of problems or hair on end or feeling like I was dread or I needed to run like I've been told by some other folks. Didn't see no red orbs that people said they've seen out there.
Right.
And my nephew was listening to his recorder on the way back, and about halfway through the tape, he got a hello. And just about a minute out before it finished, he got a what?
That's
so
crazy.
We did get an audio, which was nice. So I'm going to look at making contact with the people that own the property or have keys to the property and try to go out there at night with a few more folks and a few more toys to try some experiments.
You ready to go with us, Anthony?
Huh?
You ready to go with us?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not the stuff they were talking about last night on Blonde and Booze last night.
Yeah, Anthony was ready to beat feet. That one's
nope,
I'm out.
Yeah, that guy was. I mean, he lived in a house. He still lives in the house, and this thing's pushing him, scratching him. I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm gone. I'm outie. See you later.
I want to find one of those ones that scratches so I can get somebody
there,
to scratch my back. My wife refuses to do it.
Oh.
I mean, as we all go out and then we like hear the smallest thing or like feel the smallest thing, and we turn around and Anthony's booking it like a cartoon character.
You'll know something's going on. You'll hear Anthony's car speeding away. I had to go invest in the back
tracks.
I said to them last night on the show, I said, I'd rather go in the woods and deal with Bigfoot and Dogman, and that's it, than go in a house. You can't see what it is that's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. You know, and they're going in there. And Erin was making a comment, and she actually pushes people, Erin, in front of the ghost, and she beats feet too. So don't let her fool you either, Erin. She does the same thing.
A water super soaker with holy water in it.
Yeah.
This is both of you just pushing each other, trying to get out the door first.
Yeah.
You always take somebody slower than you when you go to that place.
The Lost Boys, remember the Lost Boys? And they're filling up the squirt guns with the holy water.
Yep.
That might be
I got it up and ready, DA.
All right. Go ahead and roll, man.
All right. This was from August 31st, 2022. So this is not long ago. Just
a few days ago.
Yeah, and this was picked up on Coast to Coast AM. Basically, the gist of the story is there was 3 siblings in a truck leaving Hunting Island State Park, which, if I'm correct on that, somewhere in Horry County, I believe. anyways, down in the lower part of the state, around the beach area, around the PD
Sounds
area.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. They were leaving the park, and as they went around a curve, this thing was like 15 or 20 feet in front of the vehicle, and they kind of all three saw it at the same time because the one that was driving stopped, and they all just kind of stopped and looked and like, what in the world are we looking at? And they just kind of casually walked off the side of the road, and they said as soon as it got off the side of the road, it just disappeared in that thick vegetation. And they actually made the report to that Bigfoot website that shall remain nameless. Don't want to get sued for saying anything. But they talked to him, so
Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah.
yeah. Said the brother that was driving the vehicle slammed on the brakes, and all three siblings confirmed with each other what they just saw. So they all three saw the exact same thing. It wasn't like one saw it and the other two didn't. All three of them saw it. They said that when it walked off, the animal walked behind palmetto stump, and they can only see it from the waist up. Said it was described the creature as being bipedal, approximately 5 to 6 feet tall, sporting dark brown, splotchy black hair that was approximately 2 inches long. So 5 to 6 feet, they probably saw an adolescent, and that's probably why they got as clear of a look at it as they did.
Yeah.
It hadn't learned to be as stealthy as the adults yet.
Wasn't scared yet.
Or
Yeah.
both ways across the street.
Yep, because they come around the curve and surprised him. But that's pretty cool, because you got three people who saw the same thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that organization went out and investigated it and actually put it in their database.
Mm.
So, pretty interesting little story from just a couple of days ago.
There are a lot of like daytime road crossing stories that I've heard. There was one here just last year, right toward the end of, I know it might have been earlier this year. I think it was just a few months ago, down near Roaring River State Park. A lady was rounding a bend, and it was a little 2-lane hot blacktop, and saw one cross the road and heading down toward the river, and just had to slam on her brakes because it was trucking across the road.
Yeah. You don't want to hit one.
Ooh. No, I've seen the damage a deer will do to a car. I can't imagine hitting a 1,000-pound ape.
I've been in one with a 280-pound deer hit it. I know. We hit the deer, but
Well, and the last thing you want is for it to get pissed off and get back up.
yeah.
Yes.
I was
Taylor,
taking
what
her
were you
up.
going to say? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over
No,
you.
you're good. He likes to say, I got my first deer kill, which I still have not got yet because I haven't been taken hunting. He was picking me up I did color guard. He was picking me up from practice, and we hit a deer on our way back, but it hit my side.
No, we didn't hit a deer. The deer hit us, and
The deer quite literally ran in front of us.
I got out of the truck, and I'm looking around, and she's like, "What are you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for the suicide note." Because it literally ran into the side of
It was big.
the passenger side of the truck on her side. I mean, I never saw it.
It was big. Like I got. It kind of sounds stupid, but a few days later, I got bronchitis, and I started like coughing a lot because I think I got so much air in my throat or something. My throat instantly hurt afterwards because I think I got like whiplash or something. But he got super proud of me. I was like, "Can I go look at it?" And he's like, "Let me see if it's actually dead first." And then looking at it, some guy drives by in his pickup truck. He's like, "Can I have that?"
Well,
hey, fresh roadkill, man.
Yeah.
He just leaves with the deer before the police officer gets there.
Yeah, it's still warm. Take it,
Yeah. Welcome to
Bigfoot. My son-in-law.
Can I take that?
My son-in-law. My son-in-law was a Marion County cop, corporal. He was driving a 4-wheel drive expedition squad car, and he's coming up Highway 42 at 55 mile an hour, and a black bear come out in front of him. He hit it. He hit it.
Bear stories.
Totaled the expedition.
Oh yeah.
He airbags blew and everything else. He ended up in the hospital from the burn from airbag.
It also isn't a hitting a deer with.
Got out to look at the bear, and the bear got up and ran off.
Oh no.
How you like that? At 55.
That's
Of course, he said he saw the back of the bear over the hood as he was hitting it, and that a 4-wheel drive expedition sits pretty high.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good sized black bear.
Big black bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
probably went off and died somewhere, but
they nailed it. Big.
I hit a crackhead coming out of Ocala National Forest one night. Does that count? I'm just throwing that out there.
Only if you didn't swerve the
My nephew Doug actually did. My nephew Doug, on his way back from a tow job, coming over a little knoll and ran over a drunk.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Killed him.
Yeah.
So anyway, get back to the story.
Yeah.
TA's like, come on, let's go.
We're drifting again.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all you, Robbie. Go ahead.
So, well, that was pretty much the end of that. It was just a little quick. It walking across the road, them seeing it, stopping. What did we just see? Type moment.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's fresh. I mean, that's like DA said.
It would help in the future, Robbie, if you said the end.
Oh, okay. I got you, Uncle John. The end.
We're not used to your stories being so short.
Yeah, I know. I should still be reading right now.
I thought, I didn't know what he was. I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, he's done with the story already. What?
Yeah, and that's not a Robbie story.
No, it's not. Well, I got to mix it up every now and then, Uncle John. You got to keep me guessing.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting here waiting, going, "What's next? What?
That can't be all. That can't be it."
Yeah.
That was only one paragraph.
Jessica's in the show too. Miss Jessica Jones.
Hi, Jessica.
Jessica
Williams in. Shane's here from his podcast. All righty.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you, Robbie, are you guys planning on going back out to that area soon?
Yeah, we talked about that last night, didn't we, Norman?
Yeah. We just got to come down with a date when all of us can go back out there as a team. I got that new big ear in, so I'm going to try to go tomorrow with my nephew and see if I can get any sounds.
Definitely should pack lighter, though, because I don't think we can do all those hills with what we brought last time.
Yeah, we'll probably try to maybe go next week sometime when my partner and I are back on our short week. So
that'll work with me. So I'm going to go up there tomorrow just to see if I can get some audio samples, and then maybe up there for about an hour or so and see if I hear anything. I'm even going to check around some of the areas where we've seen footprints before and see if I can't see anything now that it's rained again, so the ground's nice and muddy.
Yeah, would be a good time to find.
Maybe I'll get ahead.
Yeah, because that'd be excellent to get some good prints. That'd be nice.
Well, if I didn't have court tomorrow, Norman, I'd go up there with you. But I've got court and training after court, so I'll probably be tied up most of the day.
So
I'm going to take my nephew back up there with me.
What did I miss that Robbie and Miss Taylor over there? What did she see and what did she experience? I mean,
so the two big.
Easy.
My chair just broke.
See, it's always something.
Yeah.
Right now, I have a giant scratch along my face right now from his dog. It's great.
You went with your boyfriend went with you. You went with Dad,
yes.
Right? And who else? Who else was there? Norman
and his nephew.
And my partner.
Yep.
And his partner.
But you guys went inside the cave. You and your boyfriend, right?
I was the only one that went inside the cave because I was the smallest. So I went fully inside the cave and got videos and stuff of the bedding. There was almost like a side door, basically a big opening in the side of the cave where you could easily access it if you were coming down the hill.
Really?
Yeah, but it would definitely be easier for something that's used to being in the woods more often.
Right.
Like, I like to consider myself pretty much a monkey, but like I probably wouldn't have been able to get in there.
Yeah. Right.
But there was a spot of leaves that was almost kind of fresh-ish.
Okay.
They weren't as dirty or anything. And then there was like a ring of leaves that looked more like a bed over on the side with the door area. But there wasn't enough space above in the holes that were there for that many leaves to fall in. And also that ring of leaves wasn't a natural like formation. And then also those other leaves were in just kind of a straight line.
Right.
Kind of odd way they were laying there. Like they didn't fall in there, but they were brought in.
Okay. Did you smell anything or no? There was any smell in there?
So I have a bad sense of smell, so I didn't smell it until I got in the cave. But at one point the wind shifted, and him and his partner Morris smelled a mixture of wet dog and rotting meat, and I didn't smell that until I got in the cave. And it was only faint for me, but like I said, I have a bad sense of smell.
And there was no tracks by the cave whatsoever.
Well, there was a few marks and stuff leading up to it where the leaves were missing and they were broken, and they were long strides. And then there was one other moment that I'd say is worth noting. We were all standing there. It was when his partner went in the cave or went up to it. He didn't go fully in it.
Right.
When he found the hair sample, it was when the wind shifted. It all just kind of went silent and very tense. I pulled out my knife just because that's what my gut was telling me to do. And then I look over, and everybody else had their weapons right in their hands as well. Norman can attest to it because he was right down there with me. It was just a very tense moment. We were all looking in the same area, and then me and my boyfriend look up at him, and he's signaling us to look in the area that we're already looking in. Just out of like, that's where I need to look kind of feeling.
Right.
But they said they heard something moving up there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to go back with Dad, right? Okay.
Well, according to the website that shall not be named, I was just looking at it. They have sightings reports from all over that area.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, Johnny said he's talked to a lot of people up in that area that probably a lot more than what's on that unnamed website that just don't want to talk about it. But he's heard a lot of people talk to him about having sightings in that area. So apparently and that ties in. I've told you my Joe Cassie Gorge story where my uncle and I had something throwing rocks down off top of the hill at us. That trail connects right into Joe Cassie Gorge. So,
what area is that in? Where?
It's Joe Cassie Gorge is actually in Pickens County side of Highway 11, and where we were at is in the Greenville County side. So it's right in between Greenville and Pickens County in upstate South Carolina, right off Highway 11.
Yeah, I used to hang out at the Greenville Girls College, on the weekends.
Why am I
that's 50 years ago, God.
Is that where you learned your trick of the cemetery, Uncle John?
No, I learned that in Pennsylvania when I was 16.
Oh, okay.
Back then, we didn't use bucket seats much,
Okay, all right.
And if they sat way over by the door, you had to get them over. So you pull into a gravestone, start talking to a gravestone.
Ooh.
They slide right over. Nice,
Now, when are you guys going to head back out there?
Probably going to try to get back out there next week sometime. I think Norman said he was going to go tomorrow, try to get some sound recordings. But we'll probably try to do another expedition next week sometime.
Make sure you got video with you too, just in case.
Definitely. One of the things I've noticed from just the volume of reports that I've read over the years is you tend to see a lot more sighting reports and activity in early spring and around when the hunting seasons begin in the fall. So you are about in the prime area where sightings are going to be on the uptick.
Yep.
Yeah, my like even mine out in South Florida in Palm Beach, it was I think it was General Gun. It was General Gun. It was that first week of General Gun that opened up. It was still cool out. It gets pretty chilly in Palm Beach, for some reason, especially out there. So I mean, it was nice, cool out there. I mean, I remember having a jacket on when we were on the buggy. But yeah, in the summertime, I mean, it's so hot and muggy. I mean, you can't even breathe. Even here, even by us over here. I mean, it's brutal.
When I was stationed in South Carolina, we used to go to Manning, duck hunting out in the swamp area.
Yep.
And we had the tree houses out in there, where we used to stay over. Used to hear a lot of weird stuff, but I never paid any attention back then,
No, you don't, because you don't. It wasn't
you don't pay any attention,
Like even when I was telling you, Robbie. I mean, now after my sighting, everything falls into place now that all that weird stuff is happening at camp.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody thought they were practical jokes, and the other guy's messing with everyone, and so.
Well, and I've even noticed that now when you talk to people about it, years ago when you tell people, you got the "oh, you're crazy" type stuff. There's a lot more people now that are like, yeah, I can see that's a possibility. So
some of them even say, "Where was that?"
Yeah, people are starting.
Are you talking about over here? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even your daughter. Yeah, your daughter, even Taylor, you'll notice things now too. That Dad got you into this, really.
Yeah, I'm more intense every time I drive home at night. I'm like, because especially through the area where he had his sighting all those years ago, which is his first time on the show, what he talked about. Every time I drive through there, I just have a feeling of like, okay, pay a little more attention.
Yeah,
you're over attentive. Yeah,
at night now.
Yeah,
you pay a lot more attention to your surroundings when that kind of a situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like what he was saying about people like being more open to it. Like I was at the Army Navy store getting some cargo pants for our trek out in the woods because I didn't have any thick pants. And he asked what I was doing, and I told him. And I got back home and told him about it. He's like, "You actually told him what we're doing?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What did he say?" I'm like, "He thought it was really cool."
I hate to
like,
say
really?
it, but yeah, that show that we're not going to talk about that was on actually exposed.
Yeah,
a lot more people are more open about it now just by having those shows on A&E and.
Well, the sheer number that come forward have really kind of brought the subject more into the mainstream.
Right.
So, and you've got a million and one Facebook groups about cryptids now.
Right.
A lot more places where people can feel comfortable coming forward. I spoke to several people at the Dogman conference that were just very overjoyed that they were able to talk to people about their encounters in a place where no one was going to go, "Hey, you guys are on crack." Or anything.
I didn't know about. I mean, even when look at all the YouTube channels. It's like, you go and type in Bigfoot and everything. YouTube, you got investigators doing interviews. You're like, wow.
You got lots of it.
Yeah.
And podcasts, when you go in and search on iHeart or any of those things, search Bigfoot or cryptids. I mean, you're going to get a laundry list of.
Oh, you're inundated with them.
Yeah. So standing out, we'll say that's what we're up against here is getting noticed among a virtual sea of these other shows is not real easy.
And then Taylor, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. See, like her age, you don't see people on YouTube her age doing this.
Not many.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen it, anybody her age or, usually it's like 20, maybe 23 and up or 25 and up. But, I mean, I think the youngest one we know is what, Matt?
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Yeah. I mean,
he's in his 30s.
Is he? Okay. I mean, to me, he looks like he's 19, the kid,
I might be a little too old for Taylor. I'm 72.
But you were 27.
Yeah, right. Backwards.
Yeah, 27 and holding, right?
And holding. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even. I can't even get into private. I don't know. I can't even see private chat. What the hell?
Uh,
I don't
You
know.
should
I gotta figure. I gotta figure this thing after the
I
show.
don't even see it on there. Oh, I
I'm
see
gonna-
it. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
we've
gonna
got to
figure it
figure
out tonight after
The,
the show.
the co-host. We got to get that figured out for you, Anthony.
I will. I'm just gonna take it off of the computer,
Mhm.
and then I'll have you send me another link and re-download it, and do it the right way, and maybe get with Robbie. Well, Robbie's got court tomorrow. Maybe get with you later, and walk me through it. But yeah, I can't even see private chat. I try to hit on it, and it doesn't even pull up. So
You don't have another chair, Taylor?
This one's the best one.
Well, that one over there. I don't know.
That one's smaller. I'll be like down here.
Have any of you guys seen that video that has kind of been making the rounds lately of what looks to be a Bigfoot creature looking in the window, and you can see its eyes blinking?
the one I sent you, is that the one I sent
one-
you?
I missed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if
You
I can
know-
get it to load.
I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but I believe they actually debunked that. That was a hoax.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the video looks pretty convincing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I remember watching a show with it a couple of months ago, and they actually debunked it. I think it was a costume.
I looked at it, and it looked like a Native American
Right.
from his eye bridge up.
Right.
And
That's
then-
all you see.
But the coloration to me was all wrong, which was
Mhm.
like it was a picture stuck outside the window.
Yeah,
or
because I sent
really
it.
good high quality.
I sent it on the Alpha. I sent it on our messenger page
Yeah.
so everybody can look at it. Because
I looked at it.
yeah, I was like,
It looked like a good forgery,
well,
or almost good forgery.
I might be
Evidently it
wrong.
was.
I might be wrong, but I believe that is the video of that one, or it's that other video of. There's another one out there like that, where actually one is looking. You can see the whole shoulders and face, and it's looking in the window. And the husband and wife were sitting in the living room with the lights on. They just purchased the house, and I think it was in Tennessee.
Okay, let me share the video. I've got this one queued up, and I don't know if this one has been debunked. I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, Anthony, because this looks pretty damn real to me.
I know. I might be wrong. Like I said, don't hold me to it. So
I'm going to bring it up.
bless you.
I'm gonna
Ken.
share my screen. There won't be any audio, but you guys, everybody, feel free to talk about this as it's playing. We should not be muted. So here we go.
What's that? Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
If that's a
That's
person in a
looking at-
mask, there is no whites in the eyes.
No, that ain't the same video then.
That's
one had a
very
bigger-
difficult to fake.
This one had a
That
bigger window.
does- There's a lot of really good programs now, and people are
I
getting
know.
really good at this. That straight off the bat to me doesn't look real.
No.
Like the colorations are all wrong. The shadows would be completely different if it was that dark outside and that was at your window. I feel like
Yeah.
that's not.
Yeah, that's. I don't know,
I
DA.
hate to
That's,
be a pretty- But like I watch a
No,
lot
that part
of
right there is
videos
not
and
true.
stuff,
I'm
of, like,
certainly
edited
not a
things
video
and
expert,
everything.
but I'll take your word for it, Taylor. But it looked pretty realistic to me. But I'm certainly not a video guy.
now,
I'm
why didn't
on-
he catch it outside? He's outside looking for it, right?
Yeah.
I get a lot of these videos on my Instagram. Like I've gotten really good at telling if it's fake or not, especially seeing real ones, like
Right.
seeing a wolf in the woods or something, or seeing a fake one. Like I can tell that looks
Right.
pretty off.
Yeah, I think everybody in chat's agreeing with you, Taylor.
Yeah, I
all
think you're
saying
right.
it. Because they're saying it's
The shadows are all wrong. Like even if you had a flashlight on it, like that wouldn't look like that.
that might be the video that they were talking about a couple months ago that somebody did debunk it. I don't know. It might be the other one or that one, but I remember seeing it had to do with the face in the window and moving around and looking and. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I know how it would be
they
very
have to-
different if it was if I was if I was the one living in the cabin in the woods, because there would be bullet holes in the window right where it was looking in.
Yeah. Big ones. Like
Yeah.
458
Like,
size.
DA, Robbie, get over here. We got a body.
Can I jump?
And I'd be like,
Got
where's
any-
Norm? Oh, he's working. He can't make it. Okay, no problem.
I wouldn't have been filming it looking through the camera. I'd have been reloading.
Right.
Yeah. 'cause
Bring
you
the
can
bring
tell
the
they tried
truck.
to-
Yeah, Norm, bring the truck. Let's go.
I need a
That-
pickup, come along, and
That's
a
the
couple
funny
of tarps.
That I mean, all the stories you hear about, even that guy that was in Colorado, they were bear hunting.
Mhm.
Okay, it was in California, and he shot the adult one, and then he shot the baby one.
Mhm.
And he says, "Well, I put it and I covered it with pine leaves and stuff, pine cones and stuff, and I left it there. Why didn't you just pick it up and throw it in the back of your truck and leave? Like you
Yeah,
did?"
that's an old story though.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is a
it's
pretty
not-
old story.
Right. And
I've
he said
seen
he
that,
had-
they've actually had that guy on a show or something. I've seen it because
Right.
Yeah.
he's
He might have
one
been
that starts
afraid he'd get
crying.
caught with the body and prosecuted for murder.
but still, I mean, why would you hide it? I mean, I would have threw it in the back of the truck and beat feet.
Yeah.
Maybe he's afraid of family coming for revenge.
Yeah, it's very possible. If he had picked it up, he might not have made it off that
Well,
mountain.
no, he shot that one, and as he shot it, it went over the ridge,
Mhm.
and the other little one followed it, but the other one was dead. He actually picked it up and he looked at it, and he actually somebody drew a sketch of it, and they laid it by a tree and covered it up. He says, "I'll be back for it later." I'm like, "Why? Just throw it in the back of the truck."
But he didn't. He evidently didn't take any evidence with him. Nothing. No hair. No nothing. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's-
that just
That whole part of the
debunks
story
that,
seemed
you
a
know.
little odd.
Yeah.
Very odd. You know,
He
take a
did.
blood sample, some hair
He-
sample, something.
he
You
did.
know.
Shoot something that rare and you take it with you. That
He
could be
did.
like,
He
you
had
don't
a
risk
piece
that.
of
Especially if
He
you
had a
can.
piece- He had
Yeah.
a piece of skin with hair on it, and
A
he
hand.
did.
What? A head.
And-
Yeah. Take the head.
but
I'm just saying,
somebody,
if anybody that's out in the
somebody
woods shooting
debunked
something
it.
has a pickup truck.
Yeah, somebody debunked it with the hair and skin. They sent it off. They said it was bear.
Now, he didn't go up in the mountains to hunt bear in a bear in a Honda Civic.
No.
No. No.
Like,
Not really.
like I know you have a pickup truck.
Oh yeah.
All I got is a Jeep, so I'm not putting too much in the back of that thing.
Drag it.
Yeah.
If I shot a Bigfoot, I would throw that thing in the back of my SUV so fast.
I don't know if it'd fit in your SUV,
Well, I would-
but yeah.
I would make it
Tie
fit.
it on
If I,
the roof.
if I shot a Bigfoot and like I want people to believe me, I'm gonna make it fit in my SUV, even if it's sitting upright and buckled in.
Yeah, you're gonna find the wheels
Put a
are
hat
gonna
and
find it.
sunglasses on it and a beard can.
Exactly.
Taylor,
I mean,
you
If
probably
it,
weigh.
wakes, if it wakes up, have it howl like a siren out the window.
if it
Taylor,
wakes
there's
up,
no
it can
way.
have my car.
There's no way
Cold
you're
jack
gonna
hat
be
on
able to
him.
lift it. Taylor, what do you weigh? About 98 pounds wet? You're not
Yeah.
lifting a Bigfoot up into the back of your SUV, honey.
I do not weigh 98 pounds.
99.
Yeah.
Well, what you do is you
I
tie
am
a rope
tall.
around it. You tie the rope around a tree, then tie the rope to your bumper and back up and drag it up onto your hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tie it down. Yeah.
Carry a hacksaw with you so you can take off a leg and just take that with
That's how
you.
they did it in Harry and the Hendersons.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'll have you know I'm 300 pounds and counting.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh yeah. We could debunk that quick.
Yeah.
That would make Robbie about 900. You know.
Speaking of grabbing samples, Robbie, when are you going to send off that sample to Doug Hychek?
Well, I was gonna send it off Monday, but I forgot that it was Labor Day, so it's labeled and addressed and everything. I just got to put some stamps on. I'm gonna put it in the mailbox on my way to court in the morning.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
Cool. It'd be nice to find out what we got out of that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Doug has to say about it.
Yeah, because he texted me. He goes, "You guys send it?" I'm like, I don't know. I got to check with Robbie. I said,
One of the things I find really compelling is, well, I'll let Robbie tell it. Robbie, tell him what happened when you let the dog have a whiff.
So, and I don't know what made me think about doing this. And what was that? Was that the first week, DA, or was that last?
That was last
Oh,
week,
was
like Friday or Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, Thursday or Friday last week. I can't remember.
"Yeah, that was the video you sent me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
So I think it was Saturday because I had taken the sample to show my dad. So I was getting ready. We had a CWP class that day, and I picked it up to put it in my pocket to take it shut in. I got to thinking my dog was sitting on the bed, and I was like, I wonder. So I opened it up and stuck it in front of Bucky's face, and he looked at it and kind of sniffed it, put his tail between his legs, and went across the other side of the bed.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
Because I didn't see you.
Dad has it on video.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. I live in the
Well,
same house with him.
That was, and the second one was not because I did that after I got home that day, and it wasn't as good a reaction that time, but you could still, and you could still tell he still didn't want to have anything.
No part of it. That's the best part about that. His dog is like a nope.
Yeah, be interesting to see what Doug says.
Yeah, I want to see what
not smart,
Doug has to say about it.
Why you got to talk about my dog like that?
He's putting a giant scratch on my face. I can talk about him however I want.
What do you do? Scratch your face?
He jumped on my face, and now there's a giant scratch right around my eye.
He takes the part of his name of boxer very seriously.
Yeah,
trying to box you.
Yeah.
No, he didn't even like jump up and scratch. He jumped like from his chair onto my face. And I was laying there. I had a long day at work. I was just laying there talking to him, and then there's a dog on my face.
He loves you. What can you do? You know, you can't get mad at the dog.
He just wanted to see
echo somewhere.
I imagine
I
the
wanted to be
words that
mad,
came
but
out
he
of your
looked
mouth.
so sad.
I imagine.
like he
I
felt
could
so
just
bad.
imagine the words that came out of your mouth.
Somebody has their YouTube channel open.
Yeah, we're catching an echo.
Not me.
Not me.
It stopped. What was that all about?
I have no idea.
Ghost in the shell.
It just stopped automatically.
Yeah, it did just stop. Weird.
Robbie, say something.
Hello.
Huh.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, that was bizarre, but we were picking it up pretty bad.
Meg says no echo.
Huh.
Interesting.
Somebody was eavesdropping in.
Crawling the
Look behind you, everybody.
Juanita says squirrels in the Christmas tree. Yeah, that's from Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, that was funny. YouTube ghosts.
Yeah, he usually eats these things. Well, not since he read they were high in cholesterol.
Yeah.
It probably tastes like chicken.
Yeah. Squirrel's good food now.
I've had squirrel many
dumplings.
times.
Oh,
We used to call that poor man's lobster.
Oh, heck, I used to call it
I want
lunch.
alligator.
Alligator's good.
I want alligator bites so bad.
Oh, they're great.
I haven't had them in forever. My sister lived in Louisiana for a little bit, brought me some good ones.
They're good stuff. Good stuff. We got it down here. Gator Joe's down the street here. We get down there and get gator tail all day long.
One thing I did learn from one of my Cajun friends is you can cook almost anything if you put enough Tony Chachere's on it.
Oh yeah,
that's the secret ingredient. I have a ton of Tony Chachere's on hand at any given time.
Yeah, but you got to have marmalade.
What are they for? You don't want to know.
No kidding. They'll make a gumbo out of anything.
Oh yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you also about that, Robbie, is did I know your buddy touched that with his bare hands, but did anybody else?
No.
I did.
Okay.
Oh, you did? I
did to put it in the bag.
I thought he put it in the bag when you held it open. I wasn't standing right there, so
He handed
Yeah, we might get some interesting DNA then. But it depends on what kind of test Doug does. I think he's gonna check out the hair follicles themselves.
I think I touched it. I'm not sure though.
Sorry,
I might have just held the bag open.
I thought my daughter was smart enough to just hold the bag open and let him put it in there.
I might have just held the bag open.
Robbie, you need to have an evidence collection class with your hand.
And you know what's so funny about that is Morris is one of our evidence guys at the police department.
I don't think I touched it. Now that
I looked at him and I said, "You're the evidence guy, and you picked it up barehanded."
I had gloves in my bag.
He was like,
Hey,
was
good
like-
place for him.
I got excited.
I was expecting to go over there and hand him gloves and a bag, but no, he was already holding it. I didn't touch it now that I think about it. But
Well,
you
it's
let
like
your
when we
dog
see
stick his
something.
nose in the bag.
We'll forget
No,
to
I
pull the
was
camera out.
back here, and he smelled above the bag.
You know, Robbie, one of the things, and I know this is kind of a little bit off subject, but it's kind of on the same vein of evidence collection. One of the things I love the most about watching stupid cop shows on TV, and Annette hates it because I will point this every time. I point this out. They'll find some unknown substance, dab their finger in, and go, "Yeah, that's pure cocaine."
Yeah, yeah, that's pure.
Yeah, yeah,
Your mind.
yeah. The rest
Well,
of
you
the
just
days,
screwed
you're
your
on
case over there, buddy. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
I always loved watching that. Like I've been on a rewatching Dog the Bounty Hunter craze recently.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
Lord.
that show
They always
sucks.
pick up the ice pipes and just like hold it right up to their face. It's just like, this is the good stuff, and like then throw it on the ground and people crush it with their flip flops on, and I'm like, oh. And they just
Only
wash
on
it away.
TV.
I'm like, I hope no dog wanting some water comes by and licks that up.
He'd be walking around in a daze.
No,
Only on
every time
TV,
we watch
guys.
a cop
Side
show,
of the road and stuff, and then like there's probably a stray dog in the area, and they just poured some water on the ground. Poor dog about to have the weirdest day of his life.
every time we watch one of the cop show and somebody gets tased and they black out, my wife will pause it and look at me and go, "I hate you," because now I know tasers don't knock people out.
Yeah. Oh God, that's a pet peeve of mine too.
Half the time I've
Works
ever
that way.
ever deployed a taser, they popped up immediately and wanted to fight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Usually it takes about 2 cycles before they
Didn't
don't
you-
want to fight no more.
Didn't you almost like bust your head open when you got tased because they almost dropped you?
Can happen.
Nobody was holding him. He just
I need to upload my taser video one of these nights and show it to everybody. I've got my OC videos too.
No,
That
they didn't
almost
have
making a
video
good
cameras
meme
when
there.
back when I got tased.
Oh, I've been hit so many times. I made sure to get copies of the videos later because I got tired of them going, "Well, you don't have a video. You got to get it again." Like, you're the one that tased me last time. You were there.
They just want to make
I
fun
don't
of you.
remember, DA. We're gonna have to do it again. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
didn't happen.
kind of slipped my mind. You know.
So, Robbie, you want to tell everybody real quick, just kind of touch the bases, the best way to collect a sample if they do
Yeah,
find
so-
something?
So, if this was a case that we were working in law enforcement, we would have to eliminate Morris from the equation by getting a DNA sample from him. So he would be, that's okay. His DNA showed up on whatever. That's how that would have to be eliminated if it was the case for that. So to keep out of that, natural gloves, you can go to like Walmart or Dollar
Harbor
Store and
Freight.
get, any of those, Target, any of those places, get a box of Ziploc bags, get some paper bags, some paper sandwich bags, and maybe some of the a little bit bigger sizes too. Just, a variety of sizes because you never know what you're going to find or what you're going to need to pick up. Get you some cheap tweezers, something like that, makeup aisle or whatever. Probably
They sell those cheap plastic ones you can get.
Yeah.
They're next to nothing.
Yeah, and go to the fishing section in Walmart, get you a little tackle box, and put everything in, and keep it there in the car with you. And that's something that I'm sitting here talking about it, but we don't even have one put together yet ourselves, do we, Norm? We've talked about it.
I
We don't have one.
I have bags.
All I got is
and
I got
gloves in
little
my
baggies. That's
bag.
it. I forgot about the tweezers, the
Yeah.
gloves. I remedied the thing today and got gloves for us all.
And Morris and I are both police officers. We both know what we're doing. But sometimes you get out there in the heat of the moment, and you find something like that, you get excited, and you make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Well, like before we left, he even put rubber gloves and Ziploc bags in my backpack.
Yeah, so
Cool.
but
Didn't use them. I mean, we used the Ziploc bag, but
and the thing is, even if he just does a microscopic check on it, then it's not going to matter that Morris touched it. But if he does any kind of DNA testing on it, then obviously he'll have to know everybody that touched it because but it's still going to more than likely it'll still contaminate the sample at that point.
Can
I would think.
Morris give him a hair sample to rule out?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I think in a DNA situation like that, I think once that's touched, I think that contaminates it to the point where you can't say that it, because if they're as close to us on the scale as it, then it's going to show.
Well, that sample having been touched possibly twice might not even be able to be DNA tested because the sample's corrupted.
I didn't touch it now that I think about it. I just held the bag open.
Well, we might have to send Taylor back in the cave next week and see if we find another sample.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just have me crawl around in the.
And
there was a wall covered in spiders. I'll go anywhere but that wall.
Take a can of hairspray and light and clear them out.
Do like Donnie Wahlberg, carry a pen so you can pick it up.
Carry a blowtorch.
I feel pretty sure we could find, if we went up in that area right there and looked around, especially inside that little cave, I feel pretty sure we could find another sample or two.
If he's traversing as much as we think he might be traversing it, I would hope we can find some more samples along the tree branches, maybe something even snagged,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
Do a deep dive when you go out there.
Yeah.
I think there might be like a little area or something that we might find up on that little plateau, because there was like a little area that was like bright green grass, one tree, just a nice little area to sit and sunbathe. I think like it was like a little perfect little patch in all this like hills and stuff.
Yeah, I never saw a Sasquatch or anything like that sunbathing, but that would be cute.
Well, there's that video going around of Sasquatch in a bikini.
Yeah.
That video cracks me up every time I
I'm
see
gonna
it.
go ahead and say that one's fake.
Yeah, there's been like 10 people send me that video.
Is that the one
like
Anthony sent?
like the one wearing the Santa hat, you know?
I think we sent that one in our chat a couple of times too.
Yeah, I think we did. I think it's made the rounds. Now, I know you took pictures of what you believe to be tracks. Have you found anything you think is castable?
Well, the first set of tracks that Johnny and I found up there probably were partials, but I think you probably could have cast them. But I wasn't expecting to find anything. I was expecting to go up there and just have him, kind of tell me the story. I went up there just went up there to see the area and see if it was even feasible that it looked like, because we'd never been there, we'd never seen it before. And at that point, Norman and I didn't even know Johnny. That was the first time that we met him. And so we had no clue what was going on. That's Norman had something going on, so he couldn't even he got up there after we already got out of the woods. But if I'd had stuff plaster Paris that day, I probably could have cast at least one of those prints, and probably the heel impression too.
So it sounds like you need to build a kit before you go back up there, just in case.
Yeah.
While you're there, check the bedding. Real
True,
good.
there might be
hair
hairs
and
in
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll put on some gloves and check through it next time we go up there.
All the places I've ever
girl.
been, I found partial tracks, but I've never found one good enough to cast. I've had ones I suspected that were in such hard pack, you could only just barely see the outline, and pouring casting material just would have destroyed it. I've seen ones where it looked like just partial toes, but then that could be almost anything. You could have been a person, but I've never seen a clear enough track I thought was worthy of casting.
That one, I think, at least 3 toes from big toe over, the ball of the foot, and maybe just a little bit behind that could have been cast. And the heel impression was definitely deep enough to cast. I don't know if that would have showed up any dermal ridges or not. But
I know when Johnny and I went out there, we found 3 toes, but it was at a slant, so I don't think I'd be able to get a cast because of the way the slant was. But those were some big toes.
Yeah. Like I said, the ones that I found that day, my hand's 8 inches long, and it was longer and it was just the ball of the foot forward. It was longer than my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish you could have casted that. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, it would have been.
Look around when you go back. Maybe you'll find another one.
Yeah, well,
We'll
Yeah.
see.
if it's still using that track, that looked like a pretty well used area because it wasn't like it was just a couple spots cut out of that bank going up the hill. It was pretty wore down, like it'd been used a lot, wasn't it, Norman?
Yeah, but
something
now
was
that
really
now
walking
that
up and down that trail.
Taylor's been in there, he's gonna have that scent in there. So no, I'm serious. He'll have that scent. So I don't know if that'll drive him off or drive him crazy. I don't know either one, but
Well,
Let's wait and see. I know we
never
want to
know.
get above that cave next time we go. Maybe there's a trail that runs up behind there, and maybe we can find something up on top of that little ridge above
there
the
you
cave.
go.
And
There
a
you
few
go.
other places along there. There's some other little caves too. We might want. We're looking. Might try to check, but the most one we want to do is get up above the cave and take a look around. And that might be next trip or the trip after, depending.
Yeah.
Don't forget your cameras.
Definitely not.
Oh, I got a new camera coming in for us for that.
Nice.
Awesome.
I had a camcorder. I just ended up using my phone. It was easier and quieter because the camera, every time I turned it on, was like beep, beep, beep.
If any of you guys have a GoPro, having something pointed behind you might not be a bad idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wish we did have a GoPro or something like that. That'd be something really nice to have.
Yeah, my
always have something or somebody to check your six. Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's we went in. I was on point. Morris was on rear guard, and then when we came back out, he was on point and I was on rear guard.
Always check behind you.
Yeah, we definitely was watching the six.
Definitely.
Yeah. And when
Looks like we got a question from the crowd. Billy Dink says, are more law enforcement now open to the possibility of Bigfoot reports? It seems that long ago sightings were dismissed or acknowledged privately.
I think that's with education and the more reports that come out and open-mindedness from TV shows, books, movies has opened up people's minds a little more. So I would say a lot of our law enforcement that are younger or middle-aged, they've been exposed to this more. So the possibilities, they're more open-minded, I believe.
Well,
and stay away from the woke ones.
It's like the last department that I worked for, and I've told DA and Anthony this story many times. I would get laughed at regularly from them about the fact that I believed. But this department I'm at now, it seems like just about every person that I've said something to or told about mine and Anthony's podcast, they're all like, "Oh man, send me the link. I want to listen to that. I love that kind of stuff." And it's
becoming more mainstream.
Yeah,
exactly. A lot of it will depend on the department and the climate in your department. And I know a lot. One of the sheriff's departments I worked for probably would have got you a psych eval, but my last chief of police, he'd have been like, "Oh, really? Holy shit! Let's go take a look."
Yeah.
I've actually run into some people, like Rob, you saying, where before, I expressed some beliefs on some things and I was labeled a nut job. But now there's some people I talk to and they're very open-minded. They want to know more. They want to go. Sometimes they want to get out there with me and see to get more, it's like they want to be able to see to get more involved in it even, And so some of the folks, then there's folks that I never thought would be interested when I accidentally shared my link with a few folks by accident. They're like, "Man, I've always wanted to know that. You got to keep me informed on this." I mean, the popularity is there nowadays compared to where it might have been 30, 40, or 50 years ago.
Well, I would say even 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's more because, and this department that was like a year ago, that I would get constantly, I'd go out and they'd have, they'd put stickers on my car and there was always little drawings on my box, and I would constantly get these little memes sent in a group text message from in the department, just and not doing it in good fun either, because they were all involved in it and all laughing about it, and I wasn't. So
yeah,
I know when I first wrote my Ragnarok book series, I was still with the sheriff's department, and I got so many zombie jokes from people. Hey, you're going to arrest him if you find a zombie? And crap like that. I'm like, look, guys, I write books for a living. This is my umbrella to get out. Give me crap all you want, but I don't see any of you writing books.
Exactly.
Aiden Philanthropist asks, is at the AX Machina. I see the title of today's show. I missed the earlier half. Curious, what's your opinion of the alleged Bigfoot skull remains allegedly found in British Columbia in Canada? That was all faked. That guy did that just as a publicity stunt.
Yeah, he planted it there.
The thing is what really was bad is he presented it as a real find. And if you watch the video, it's like 15 minutes in the video before he admits he did it, just as an exercise to see what would happen. But he presented that as real to try to generate buzz for his channel, and I hate people that do that.
Meg and William asked me to pull up the picture. I can't pull it up, guys. I'm still working the bugs out of the co-host thing here. DA would have to pull it up.
The one you commented on? The one you said that's one big boy?
Yeah, William Nighthawk. Yeah, it's on his page.
Let me save the image. I'm not sure I can get it to pull up on Melon because you've got to do some kind of juggling with Melon to get it to show pictures correct.
Yeah,
if it does upload, it's probably going to be it's really weirdly disproportionate. And it just stretched it.
There you go.
Yeah, I brought it up.
Big. That is big.
Yeah, I don't know. It is big. It's really wide for if that was a person, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't see it because the wideness and the way it's forming up to the head just doesn't seem right, and the head is just too perfectly pitched behind the tree. It just, I don't know. I don't.
Also, if you look at the feet, they don't sit right. Like there's no
the legs look like stumps, like an elephant.
Like almost, it looks like it's almost bent, like how like goat legs would be, like if you saw like a centaur or something, like kind of like bent back, and like it just looks wrong.
No, that's William Nighthawk's picture off his page. William, we're not busting your balls, brother. So, you know us, we love you, but I don't know, man. I really don't know.
It's hard to say, but if I had to go with my gut, I think it's probably a hoaxed photo.
Now, did he take the picture or
no? He shared it.
Okay,
he shared it from a YouTube video.
I was gonna say because I don't think he would have took something like that. I think we know him.
Posted in r/Bigfoot by you something.
Yeah, he would have got something much clearer.
I think it was posted to Reddit.
Yeah.
There's a good indicator right there.
What is it?
It was on Reddit.
Oh, well, yeah, that's... Yeah.
The thing is with people like faking this stuff, if something goes viral, and like say they post a video like talking about all this stuff and it goes viral and people believe it, and then they come out with another video saying, oh, I faked it, yada, yada, yada. Well, not as many people see the, like, if somebody does something and then they post an apology video, nobody ever sees, like, the apology video never gets as many views. It's the follow-up to it never gets as many views. So you could, like, have a bunch of people see this video and then only half of them see that it was faked.
Well, Taylor, you got to understand, in this community, Taylor, when people do that, it makes all of us look nuts.
Yeah, they start thinking that all of them.
I wonder if it's not intentional.
Yeah, and that's what I was just about to say. Some of that is intentional because what's the easiest way to suppress something like that? Make us all look crazy.
And that's
bunch of crackpots.
I mean, she's on point. Your daughter's pretty much on point. I mean, for 18 years old, she knows what she's talking about because it's this community, and you'll see if you watch enough of this stuff. And like me, when I got heavy into it with DA, there is so much animosity in this community. It's ridiculous.
And another thing about images like that is if it was posted in one of our groups and it was debunked as a fake photo, in 6 months down the road, it'll pop up in another group with another story behind the image.
Yep.
Yeah, there were some ones that were supposedly taken of a Bigfoot down on Table Rock Lake, and I got all excited when I started looking at them. And then I had Josh and Adam look at them. And we're like, yeah, that just doesn't look right. There's something wrong about it. And we basically said, we think these are fake photos. A month later, they popped up as being seen on another lake, reported by a sheriff's department in another state. Like, those are the same photos, guys.
Yeah.
Literally the exact same photos.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we talked about, like the UFO investigations, and there's always somebody that's going to be putting out disinformation in some way, shape, or form just to throw off the community. And I think we mentioned this last show or the show before about there may be groups out there that are doing the same thing in the Bigfoot community by posting some things and to discredit.
Oh, there is. And there's one of them that we don't mention that's been known to do it. Okay? I mean, there's certain people on their show, well, one that I know of that...
no names.
Yeah, that does it, and he does not get along. And, everybody, he doesn't get along with any other researcher. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing. If he doesn't find it, and he doesn't prove it, and it's no good. I mean, a squirrel can fart in the woods, and he'd be like, that's a Bigfoot. You hear that? That's a Bigfoot. It's like when people don't know what they're listening to. I heard one guy go, oh, you hear that owl? I'm like, yeah, it's an owl. Yeah, but that's not a real owl. I'm like, yeah, it is a real owl. I know the difference between a real owl and a owl call and a guy making a noise doing it. It's like people just, that's the whole thing. You'll see this, Taylor.
You hear that coyote? That's Bigfoot's pet coyote.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a coyote.
It's like,
Occam's razor applies here.
Yeah,
whatever the most logical, the easiest explanation is probably correct.
Right.
If it sounds like a coyote, it's probably a coyote.
The Sierra
Was
sounds.
he chipped?
Taylor, have you heard of the Sierra sounds?
No.
Okay. If you get time, listen to it on YouTube. It sounds like Japanese. It sounds like they call it samurai chatter.
Yeah, they refer to it as the samurai chatter.
And it sounds.
I remember that.
Right, and in between that, and you'll hear different calls in it. They had a Navy
cryptolinguist,
right, actually break it down, and there's high pitches and low pitches that we can't hear. In that.
Yeah, above and below what human voice range is capable of producing.
So that you got to listen to it.
Okay.
That's very
a lot of people think the Sierra sounds are hoaxed. There was no way, considering the technology of the 1970s, that those guys out in the woods were able to produce a series of sound that the Navy said did identify as a language. They just didn't know what they were saying.
That's just like people saying that the Patterson-Gimlin, people saying the Patterson-Gimlin footage was fake. There was no, I mean, how many
people claim the moon landing was fake? Yeah. I mean,
how many experts have looked at that and said, look, and I'm talking about movie experts who are experts in making movie props and making things that are realistic, who have said, there is no way with the technology that was around back then, there is no way they made that suit.
One of the big budget movies that came out at about the same time was Planet of the Apes. And look at the costuming on Planet of the Apes for a big budget film. And you're going to tell me that a big budget film made a crappier costume than two cowboys out in the woods.
Well, that's what he said. The guy that did the makeup and the costume work on Planet of the Apes says there is no way that they hoaxed that. He says if they made that suit, they need to come work for me on the movie set because there's no way. He was top notch in his field back then. I mean, he goes, no, that's real.
They've even tried to remake that video today with technology,
and it just didn't even look close.
Yeah, it didn't even look the same.
Right.
Werewolf's got a good point. If I can get the comment, there we go. That should get it. And Werewolf 5674 says, with modern software, there's no way to know if a photo is real. Not without
Right.
a full video analysis and breakdown, it's very, very easy to fake photos these days.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think any photographic or video evidence is ever going to be presented as proof. The Patterson Gimlin, considering that it was made in the late 60s, what was it, 1967?
Yeah.
67, 68, somewhere in there.
They didn't have that technology; didn't exist at the time. It was shot on a little, what was it, a little 8mm hand crank video camera.
8mm, yeah, that's what it was. 8mm.
So there was no way they were faking that in 1967.
Yeah.
Today, yes, you could probably fake that with Photoshop. Back
Right.
then, not a chance. That technology
you
didn't exist.
They didn't even have internet or anything back then.
Well, it just and Professor Meldrum was even talking about that. The way you see the muscles moving independently, there's just no way that the
Yeah,
technology just didn't exist to have something that looked like that back then.
He even said that on the show. DA had him on the show. I got him to come on, and he even said with the prints, all those prints are fake. He actually broke down the prints and told us, he goes, they might look fake, but there's so much breakage. You could see where it broke.
Yeah, he talked about the metatarsal break and the way the foot flexed. He said, this is not something guys with no knowledge of ape anatomy would know how to fake.
And that's what he was explaining on the show that night. And he's like, he could pick out this guy, and he could pick out a fake in seconds. Because Robbie, you know what he does, and I know what he does. But yeah, this guy is like, and that's what drove him into this area to where he got so involved into it, because he was like, yeah, this stuff is not fake. So there is
just about any reputable Bigfoot documentary that has been on within the last 10 to 15 years, Dr. Meldrum has been part of it.
Right. And
someone mentioned, Billy Dink says, do you value Thinker Thunker's analysis? I think Thinker Thunker is one of the best out there. Him and MK Davis are two of the best at spotting hoaxes.
Yeah.
The problem is even one gets by them once in a while.
Right.
So it's going to be very, very difficult to ever present a modern piece of video and say this is what it is. And we see a million different photos making the rounds of a shrub with red circles on it, and 99% of the time, and I'm not saying this is always the case, but 99% of the time I look at it and it's just pareidolia. You take any digital image and you zoom it in close enough to something, you're going to start seeing patterns. It's just the human brain, that's the way we're wired. We look for patterns. And any two dots can look like eyes if you zoom in close enough on a grainy picture. It's I hate even posting pictures with red circles on them unless I really think there's something there.
And you know me, DA. Robbie knows me. Uncle John, Norm doesn't know me yet that well, but if you know how I feel about pictures, okay? Like today on Facebook. I mean, I don't mean to upset anybody. If you're on the show, because I guess he's one of our subscribers, but somebody posted pictures of a Bigfoot face. I didn't see it. I couldn't see it. I mean, to me, it was just bushes, and that's all I could see. I mean, the other picture he sent in, it was something there, but, it's like, why can't anyone, if you're getting pictures of a bush, why can't you get a good picture of one in the bush? What's the problem? If there is one in there, that's what I'm saying. And
well, someone mentioned something about feral hogs. If you get a picture of a bush with a feral hog behind it, it could look like almost anything. I mean,
right.
And if you stare long enough at a very badly pixelated image, your brain's going to pick out images in it. It's just the way we're wired.
Well, you think about it. If you're looking at a wood floor that's got a grain pattern on it, how many times have you been sitting there looking at, and all of a sudden you see a face in that grain?
Yeah, like the tile on our bathroom wall. I mean, you can find weird shapes in that if you look staring at it long enough.
I mean, you can piss on a wall and a picture of Jesus will appear. I mean, of course, anything's possible, but yeah. I mean,
what it's going to boil down to is getting an actual extremity, head, or body.
Yes, yeah, you have to. And I hate to say it, but they do have. Somebody has to present a body to get everybody to believe. And I hate to say it, that's the only way.
Well, I think footprint evidence and maybe collecting scat or anything we can draw DNA from, even hair, is still a viable source of tangible evidence. But I agree, it's going to take a body before somebody goes, oh, hey, I guess it does exist.
But
West Coast Dogman Shane over at West Coast Dogman says, DA, that's correct. That's why I stopped taking pictures. I want to see the creatures with my own eyes. A photo can only say 1,000 words.
Exactly.
And sometimes it says a lot less than that. I mean, sometimes it's just a grainy ass photo.
There's a,
a lot of times those are the wrong words.
Right, but
Exactly.
look, they got DNA proof of it, and it's not just that one doctor, that one lady that got the DNA proof. There's other
Dr. Melba Ketchum.
Right. There's other people out there that got DNA proof that are getting the same results.
Yeah.
And they're all crazy, people say.
They ostracized her.
I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of pictures I've got of the woods that, you know, if you zoomed in on any one of them, you might find something. And I know for a fact there was nothing there because it was a public area. There were, you know, you wouldn't find something like that in a public use area. You know, because it was just in the stand of woods might have been 10 yards thick. But I've got plenty of pictures of trees where if you stared long enough, you could probably find a pattern in them. And that's unfortunately never the case, that you're never going to have that as definitive proof.
And especially if you're wanting to see something.
Right. If you really want to see something, you're going to see it.
Yeah. If you're looking at it and you're like, I need to find Bigfoot. I need to be there, and that is forefront in your mind. You're gonna see what you want to see.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking anybody out there's research. If you're going out in the field and you're actually going out and looking for these things, good on you. I mean, there needs to be more people doing this, and boots on the ground is eventually how we're going to bring this home. However, I just don't agree with pictures of bushes with red circles on them. And the problem with that is every time somebody posts a picture like that, 25 people claim that they see it. Right. And if you watch my background behind me, it's an animated background. If you watch it close enough, you're going to see eyes appearing in it, and that's deliberate. It was an animated background that Adam made for me for the show. But it's just like that. If you look in the woods, you see a set of eyes, it doesn't mean it's Bigfoot. It might be a raccoon. It might be anything. It might be a squirrel watching you. And if you zoom in on it tight enough, it's going to look huge, no matter how, if you blow it up big enough. So our mind will play tricks on us. Our mind will see patterns where maybe none exist.
The best pictures I've seen, the best pictures, and DA will probably agree with me, is Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. He has some really clear. I mean, the clearest one I've seen is that one looking into the tent. That blew me away.
That's the thing. If everybody that goes out and takes a picture, I wish they'd take a good camera, because the only thing that's clear are the bushes. Everything that you say that there's something in, it's always blurry.
Yep.
And
brown splotches.
And that doesn't make it right.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll see somebody will post a picture and be like, wait till you see it, and then your brain will just look for anything that doesn't look right to you, or something like a branch that's sticking out farther than the other branches of a tree, and it's like, oh, there's a snake or something. Like, your brain will make you want to see something. Like, if you see a picture of, I'm sure all of us have seen this at some point, if you see a picture of somebody upside down, your brain will try to flip the eyes of the person to make you see them correctly, because that's what you're looking at this, and that's what you're used to seeing. You look at these pictures on like Reddit or whatever, and you're used to like having something circled, or you're looking for something, so your brain will make something for you to see. Like, even if you're just looking at black screen, sometimes you'll see different like pixels of different colors, and you're like, oh, there's a ghost or something. Like,
I put far more stock in eyewitness accounts than I do most photos, because photos can be faked, or the red circle photos. Five different people will look at it and see five different things. Now, when you talk to an eyewitness and you see their hands start to tremble, or they've got goosebumps when they're telling you the story, that's a reaction. That's a palpable, visceral reaction. They're reliving an experience. So I put more stock in eyewitness accounts than I do blurry photos.
Exactly. Welcome, Craven.
Craven, welcome to the channel, man. Thank you so much.
DA, do you remember seeing a video on YouTube a couple years ago about a guy that supposedly had a Bigfoot head on ice? It's up around Alaska.
Turned out to be fake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
it was.
rubber suit.
It looked
He'd
good.
stuffed a gorilla suit full of like possum guts and froze it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And stuff like that really does more damage to the field. Even if the guy's trying to make a quick buck off of it, it just does damage to this field.
Yeah, because everybody starts thinking everything's fake.
Yeah.
You know?
It becomes easier for people to go, well, if that's fake, they're all fake, than for them to listen and say, hey, wait a minute. Out of these thousands upon thousands of sightings reports dating back for more than 100 years, not everybody's lying.
Right.
I mean, look how long it took them to recognize the silverback gorilla.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy. You know, people are talking about, and they're like, "Nah, you're nuts. There's no such thing out there." You know.
Well, here's another thing that I'm just going to throw out there. One thing we've discovered, multiple researchers, including Doug Hychek, have talked about this, about how Bigfoot hair has clear shafts.
Mhm.
If the clear shafted hair can absorb and redirect light, that could explain for blurry photos. That'd be a big reason why it's very difficult to get anything clear on one.
That's true too.
That could be too, yeah.
Yep.
You know, I heard a joke one time about Bigfoot, and it had to do with the UFO. That Bigfoot is an alien scientist that's running around in his birthday suit, seeing what's going on and see what kind of response he gets from us.
Yeah. But people believe that, Norman. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's groups out there. People go, they're from another planet and they're here, and
there's so many groups, and I'm not going to knock anybody. I'm not saying.
No.
But there are people that believe they come through portals. There are people that believe they're extra dimensional. There are people that believe that they're spiritual. There are people that believe that aliens brought them here. Again, Occam's would apply here. You can't explain a mystery with another mystery. It just just because you can't find it and it disappeared in the woods doesn't mean it disappeared through a portal. Not saying it didn't, but the most logical, Occam's razor, again, the most simplest answer is generally the case, is that it just simply is very good at evading people.
And you got to remember, something that big with that stride, he can move quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, so what you think he's disappeared is the fact he's already moved off 30 feet because his stride and how fast he probably can move, and then he's a natural with the woods, so he's gonna be there. He's gonna be gone. That's like, I'm 6 foot, and thanks to U.S. military, I was trained to walk quietly. And there'd be times I'd show up behind people, and they'd say, "Where'd you come from?" And I said, "I didn't see you because I walk fast. I have a long stride." You know, and people don't pay attention to their environments enough to see if something's coming from an angle or not until you walk up behind them and go, "Hi," and they jump.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can tell you from doing building searches, you learn to walk quiet, because you make too much noise, you get shot.
Exactly.
Robbie knows that one. Walk on the balls of your feet, because the more noise you make, the more bad it is for you.
Yep.
Yeah. I learned a lot.
You don't want the bad guy knowing where you're at.
And keep the chatter down. Do not talk unless you have to.
You don't talk at all.
Yeah, I know guys that are special forces, and I've thrown this example out before, and I know many guys that are special forces capable. The guys that are trained to do this, people that will go out into the woods and just freaking vanish, and you're not going to find them. I mean, if they're out there, you know, Anthony can tell you. I know I could bring on a couple of guys who are Army Rangers that can tell you. If they don't want you to find them, you ain't going to find them.
You're not.
Right.
I mean,
Those are guys who are trained to do it. They weren't creatures that were born to it, that were evolved in that environment. These are people that were trained to disappear in the woods.
Yeah,
We were trained to be where they didn't see it. I know that.
I had a guy that was in his late, I would say 60s. His name was Jim Bigwood, and he was a former SAS from Britain.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was working in the gun store, and I was working for my other boss. This guy was in his late 60s. He would take his pistol out of his side. I mean, it was like muscle memory for him. I mean, you would look at him and you go, oh, he's an old man. This guy would drill a target. I mean, and you'd be like, your mouth would drop. You'd be like, well, what? What just happened? You know, it's just what, you know, it was crazy what this guy would do at his age. Even at his age, he was still doing it. I was like, wow. You know, like, that's crazy. Nuts. You know, but like Norm said, they move so fast, which they do. People actually say they float. It looked like it was floating. You know, it was floating across the grass. Well, I mean, figure it out. If they're 11 foot tall and their stride is what, Norm? 8 foot, 10 foot stride?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, that thing's moving pretty quick.
Well, Anthony can tell you, Robbie can tell you, when you stack up in a formation and you're moving forward, there's no bounce to your walk. You are controlling that the way you proceed, and it's called moving tactically, or sometimes the military refers to it as the ranger walk. You walk on the balls of your feet, you stay in position, and you don't bounce. Minimize your noise.
Even when you're going in.
Try telling that to a couple of pilots when you're trying to do that, and they're behind you. Yeah. Yeah.
Erin Eck from Blondes and Booze podcast, she said, my grandfather was a park ranger all over the country. He told me animals are meant to hide, and that's what they do. Big animals can hide just as good as the small ones. You are absolutely
Absolutely.
He's right.
Sometimes better.
Yeah. I mean, there's been times you can walk through the woods. I recall, you know, once or twice walking through and not seeing the deer until it jumped up out of the ground because it's perfectly blended.
Well, every deer I've ever shot deer hunting, I saw because it moved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of times, how good they can hide depends on if they eat or not,
or survive.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you ain't good at it, you may not eat, or you may get eat.
That's the old saying, hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a story. There was a story I heard on one of the other groups, and it was about a kid that got supposedly snatched by a Bigfoot. And the guy said he looked, seen the kid get snatched, lost it for a second, and he's like, it disappeared, but then he recaught it a few seconds later while it was making his stride. He said it was a good way away, but he dropped the child. I don't know how the fidelity of the story, but you know, it made sense because, you know, the size of the creature, the stride of the creature, you know, like you've been trained, DEA, I've been trained, Anthony's been doing,
even
Robbie, we can all do it.
But that's the point. I think the point DA's making is, you know, all of us have skills that we were trained for and can do it, but
these are
natural skills. Before, being born to it, and that's, you know, that's what they've done their entire life.
You're going to be next generation up.
John still does it to me. John still does it to me. I'll be standing in the bathroom, and you know, he's in his 70s, and I turn around and he's standing behind me. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what do you don't you know?
Don't do that to me.
Right. He scares the shit out of me half the time. I'm like, you can't even hear him.
That glide that people describe Bigfoot as having that level gait. If you're out just walking through the woods, just a normal gait, you're crushing twigs, you're making all kinds of noise. But I can tell you from experience that no bounce walk makes a hell of a lot less noise than your normal stride. And that's probably a defense that they have. That level glide walk, they're probably in full stealth mode and not wanting to be heard. So I think that could easily explain why so many of these creatures are described as having a smooth walk, almost like they're gliding. Because, you know, go on YouTube and watch videos of SWAT teams moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you will see these guys in a stack moving, and there's no bounce to their walk.
I think the only time you're going to hear us is when we run out of our meds. You'll hear, when you're walking. That's about, Yeah. I mean, that they like what Norm was saying, you know, like you turn around and they're like 30 feet away already. if you see some of those videos that they actually catch them when they're running, or they have that one video. I mean, I don't know. Todd Standing video when that thing's running up the side of the mountain. I know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I've seen some videos with them crossing a pasture, moving quickly. They got the gate,
Steve
level
Haddon
ground.
says heel toe all the way. Exactly.
That one that happened over here in Mayaca Park.
Northwood says there's no bounce in the walk of a tomb guard at Arlington either. That's a
No.
fact. They are trained to walk that way.
That one over here in Mayaca Park in Florida. Okay, down in Mayaca, Florida. It's in that open field. That thing, when the people were videotaping it, they estimated that thing covered so much ground when it started running towards them. I mean, first you see it's like a little speck, and the guy turns to look at his son, and he turns around, and this thing is huge on camera. I mean, he's like, how did he do that? He was moving, and you could see it move through that sawgrass. It was covering some distance.
Mm-hmm.
It was quick.
Just like an elephant, when it charges, it moves fast. You wouldn't think a
You
creature
don't
that
see them
big could
bounce
move
either,
fast.
do you? They don't bounce either.
We're coming up on 2 hours.
We are getting close. Yes.
I know DA doesn't feel good. I got a splitting headache.
Well, if I had to look in a mirror like you, I would too.
You're here all night. I know.
Remember, you got to sleep sometime.
Yeah, I know. Whatever.
You gonna sport your new headgear tonight before everybody leaves?
Do what?
You gonna sport that new headgear before?
Oh yeah,
everybody
where
leaves?
is it? Where's your headgear? Dun dun dun.
Oh, if I've got it all in hand.
Yeah, what did you do? You had it last week right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put it on Saturday night after the show was over.
Oh yeah.
Let me blank the camera real quick.
Okay.
I had to put my fist up because my head is just bleeding and I'm
Hey, I see you got a ghillie suit behind you,
Hi,
Anthony.
Kelly. Yeah, it's the one I had made. I was finishing up on
Everybody
I
get
was
your
doing
weapons
that.
ready.
Oh, there he is.
Oh yeah.
That's not what I was expecting.
You need to get those horns painted white.
Yeah. But the cool thing about them is you can change positions on them. So
Now
yeah,
you're
I'm from
full.
Skyrim.
Yeah, turn it sideways a little bit like that one in the movie where he's got
put
it
one
tucked
up, one
over
up,
the
Yeah,
Yeah.
one
side
up,
of
one
the
down.
nose.
There you go.
There you go.
Good cockeye.
The old cockeyed drunk. Yeah. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, you're horny, aren't you?
Have a good night, everyone. Cryptidville. Yeah.
There is one other thing I wanted to cover before we start calling it a night. I already announced this on my Patreon yesterday for the people that are on the Patreon channel, so they got word of this first. But I completed the manuscript for Man's Marauders of Planet Too Far last night. It is going to edits. Anthony and John and Norman have already had an advanced look at it. They're part of my alpha readers. What did you guys
Very
think?
good.
That
Awesome.
last chapter brought me to tears.
Sucked.
Thanks,
That was
Anthony.
awesome.
You know I love them. Well, why would you even ask?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think?
I gotta
We love
read
them.
it to you, Anthony.
Break down the big words for him.
Yeah, I gotta break down like
I haven't
the
read
end
it
of,
yet. I haven't read it yet. I walked
know.
out. John was reading it when I walked out this morning. He already had it up with his coffee and he was reading it.
I need to add Robbie to the alpha group.
It was
The
very
whole
good.
story, I
Very
think,
good.
was
I
awesome.
only saw maybe a dozen, typos. Like one part where you said unleashing instead of unleashing.
Well, I've got to go over it with Grammarly. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
And here's kind of a sneak peek. I've already showed this on Patreon. They've been aware of this for a while. Norm had this work commissioned, and this is probably going to be the cover with some. Well, of course, it's going to have the back cover blurb and other articles on it. But this is it.
Oh, that's badass.
I love that picture.
I do too.
Oh, yeah.
Badass.
Hey, I saw that picture last night.
Yes, you did.
It's
I saw
not
a picture
Annabelle's
a while
angel
ago when you
anymore.
accidentally flashed it on screen.
Hey, show them the crew picture. Let them get an
I
idea
will
what your
have
crew
to
looks
upload that one. Give me just a second.
Who did the
Okay.
pictures?
like. Gentleman out of Argentina.
Really?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll send you his link. I found him on DeviantArt.
No way.
And
Very talented dude.
And he did those
DeviantArt is a
pictures?
great way to find
yeah,
artists that will do commissions.
he's done 2 crew portraits. The touching the tank. He did one of Captain Nev Longrider as the assassin. He did the unit patch, and then there's one more coming up that's a surprise for DA.
I'm trying to find that image. Give me just a
And then
second.
he's going to do a couple more for us later on. We're reading the book where the asteroid belt, when he comes out, see the station. I'm going to commission him to write up something along that one, showing the station coming from the cockpit of a spacecraft with the
Right.
asteroids, and another one of the dropships launching from the carriers.
Oh, that's nice. That's a cool picture.
Cool.
That is cool.
I
me
want to
find
see
the
the
other
one. I want
I
to see
see
the
the
one
patch.
Overwatch in a
I see the
bikini.
patch. I see the patch on their shoulder. That's pretty cool how he
Yeah,
got
that's
the
the level of
detail.
detail he went into. He even
Right.
included
Yeah.
the patch.
The detail on that, even with the patch on their shoulder, that's pretty cool.
I mean, this guy's detail work is freaking awesome. If you get a chance to get it downloaded and you blow it up, you'll see so much detail in it that it's
Mhm.
freaking phenomenal what this kid does.
He did this for
Very, very,
DA?
very good.
Yeah, I had him commissioned for DA for the series to use as either teasers or as book covers.
That's nice, man.
That's awesome.
I like that.
Miss Taylor, we heard that you're very talented too, Miss.
Yes, she is.
In the drawings and stuff.
A little.
Don't say little, because I can draw too, and I wasted my talent by not pursuing it.
Well, I'm actually trying to go to college right now for graphic design.
You should, and stick
Awesome.
with it.
You
Don't
should.
do what I did.
I design all of the What's Really Out There podcast thumbnails.
Right.
So
John,
that's
my
the-
uncle will tell you. My uncle will tell you I can draw. I just don't. I don't have the.
Experience?
You don't
I
have
don't have
the.
the desire anymore, man. I just
Yeah,
lost
but
it.
you can draw.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He'll
Very
tell you
awesome.
I can draw, but don't waste it like I did. Don't.
I'm
Don't at
trying.
all.
Stick with it and keep it up, girl. 'Cause you're good.
Thank you.
Give me just
I
a
might get
second
her-
on that last picture.
I might
I've got
talk to Taylor about redoing the Fuzzy Gods for us too.
Yeah.
She'd be really good at that.
The Fuzzy Gods.
What is the Fuzzy Gods?
I'll show you when we get together.
Ask him.
Okay.
It's a picture
I
of
still
what
want to
looks like
see
a Yeti with
Overwatch in the
words
bikini
by
on the
Fuzzy
side
Gods.
of the tank.
Let me find that last image because I've got to transform it. I've got to open it and then save it in a different format because it won't
Yeah.
upload.
See, that was the other thing I liked was when we talked about the scene with the uniform and then letting the uniform disintegrate off her, which seemed to be more fitting,
Right.
and it worked out well for the book at the end with even the ending. I thought, it was something you would probably see in real life or in a story like this, and it fit perfectly. I still swear that is an awesome scene, as well as the last chapter. I'm not going to go into surprising
that's
it. Say-
badass. Right there.
Awesome.
That is badass.
That is
That
nice.
gives you the idea of the main crew members.
There's Overwatch up on top.
Mhm.
Yep. And if you're able to blow up the picture, you'll see the gold fillet on her arms and face.
Really?
Well,
Yes.
nobody knows what that is yet. They haven't read the book, Norm.
That's all I'm going to leave it at. But yeah, if you get a chance to blow up the picture, you'll see the inlay of gold.
Huh.
Yeah, we're working on getting those patches made. At some point very soon, we're going to get these made.
Good night,
Awesome.
Pete
Yeah.
Dahlia. Good night, everybody that's getting off. Yep. Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Not.
Nice.
Good night, everybody. Thanks
So-
for coming.
Watch for Man's Marauders: A Planet Too Far being released in the very near future. Like I said, the manuscript is done. It's in the hands of the alpha readers right now. They're tearing it apart, looking for anything I might have messed up or it needs fixed. Then it's going to go through a couple rounds of edits, and I'm hoping to have it ready to go to formatting and have the cover finished maybe as early as next week.
Awesome.
That'd be
So-
awesome.
Aaron
Yeah,
says,
hopefully
Aaron
Very
says
good
those
story.
pictures.
I mean, that was
Aaron's-
a really good read, man.
Aaron says those pictures are amazing. The artwork is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's from that channel, the podcast. I can't think straight. I got a headache. Blonde and Booze.
Awesome.
That's Miss Aaron.
Well, I am so glad you guys like that. Again, watch for the release details coming soon. I announced all this for, if you're a member of the Patreon community, you guys would have known about this for a while. Actually, if you are not a member of the Patreon community and you'd like to read a sample of the book, the first couple of chapters are up on the Patreon community, along with a bunch of new short stories. Should be another short story being added to it very soon. I hope you guys will check that out over at patreon.com/DARobertsauthor because the big announcements get announced over there prior to being announced anywhere else. Want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I really appreciate everything you guys do for us. Thank you for the super chats tonight. Big shout out and thanks to the moderators. You guys do a fantastic job. Thanks to the people that are supporting over at the Patreon channel. You guys make a huge difference. You really have no idea how much your support is helping me continue to create new books and bring these stories to life. Guys, thank you. Taylor, Robbie, thank you guys for jumping in tonight. Thank you for sharing those videos. Norm, thanks for jumping in, talking about not only being out there with them, but the haunted church. And we want to get more of that. Uncle John, it's always a hoot having you on. Anthony, brother,
Yes,
appreciate it. I appreciate everything you do, man.
Nice
Folks,
meeting you, Taylor.
It was nice to
Yes,
meet you.
Yeah.
yes, Miss Taylor.
Did you ever
Very, very
watch
nice.
NCIS?
I used to watch it all the time with my grandma.
Ah, yeah. Well, you see who's right beside you, right? You heard about the famous Gibbs slap?
No.
Rookie.
thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. I'm glad you guys spent your evening with us. Really enjoy each and every one of you guys. Enjoy all the conversations in the chat. We try to get to as many questions as we can, but the more people we have in the chat, the harder that's going to be. That's why I just added a bunch more mods. Moderators, thank you guys so much for everything you do. Remember, moderators, anytime that somebody has a question, try to bring it to our attention because I don't always catch them. And if you're ever going to ask a question during live shows, make sure you preface it with all caps question, the word question, and then your question because it'd make it easier to spot. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope you guys will join us again on our next show, which will be, what is today? Today is Wednesday. Well, it'll be on Saturday. Days of the week run together, man.
It's a day.
It's a day. It's Wednesday. Well, thank you guys for spending the Wednesday evening with us.
Asking that.
Yeah, she always tells me, especially when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
She's quick to point it out when I'm wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, folks, again, thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you for spending the night with us. And come back with us on Saturday night when we'll have more of the craziness and strange things to share. And watch for more coming in the very near future. If you like the short stories that I've written in the past, make sure you check out patreon.com because they will appear there first. And again, thank you guys so much for everything you do. And we will see you guys on this coming
Y'all
Friday.
noticed that Anthony's got the Mr. Clean look tonight. So.
Oh, I shaved my beard. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Thank you, guys. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.